let me just jump in here. Um, so yeah, reading the story, you have okay, yeah. So reading the story, just had the question that came up was, you know, why is Michael Crummy telling me this story? I mean, I guess that's something that all authors need to answer one way or the other. I mean, I read a lot of genre fiction where it's like, it's to tell, like, a fantasy or an adventure story. It's to be, a good fantasy adventure story, or mystery is like, involving mystery. And it's like, well, what is the reason why Michael Crummy are you telling me this story, this really unfortunate story of this brother and sister, and the relationship that they have, the non-brother, the boundary crossing relationship of a brother and sister, because it does go there. um Spoilers. But it's like, why are you telling me this story? And actually, I think, to Michael Crummy's credit, he manages to give me to tell me why you're telling me this story. And it's not like, oh, there's a message here or something. It's like, it's actually probably the exact opposite of the message. This is a novel that is probably disquieting in its way, because it is so centered on Ada and Everett's point of view and their experience, that it doesn't, they have their own self judgments of themselves, but you don't get the sense that the novel is saying, like, this is wrong, because we don't need a novel to tell us that a brother and a sister having a sexual relationship is wrong. Yes, of course it is wrong. But it manages to kind of to say, this is this is their story. These are still human beings. What they did, if not excusable, is understandable. I think there's other stories in here. There's a story of a ship trapped in the ice, and what the survivors and then lone survivor does to survive, and that gets written down in a journal. And there's Everett having a reaction to when the beetle shows up, and he has a book, and it's got all their names in it, and it's got what they owe, and it's got like what fish they think, and he finds that kind of affronting that they've been kind of reduced to the scratches on the page. And there is a lot of this book which I think is an answer to that is an answer to that question of, like, okay, like account books, a dry journal, they can be things that can be used to kind of like judge as things to bash down people like Ada and Everett, to look down on them, to sneer at them, to make fun of them. And this is a novel that says, no, I'm gonna take you into their story, and I'm going to let you immersed in them, and for all their uncomfortableness, you get to see their joy, their passion, them even coming to a realization at the end, and not to find a judgment for them. I also think of their stories going on about the parents, and maybe the circumstances of their marriage, that are known locally, which, I mean, to them is like, it's outside the cove, so it's still in the outside world, but there's stories that are being told about their parents, and it's a judgmental story, and it's like it's a biblical story, in its way. And as soon as you hear the circumstances, you'll know exactly what biblical story that is. But it's told from the outside, looking at these people and poking at them and judging them. And this is a story that is told inside of this, and it's not excusing it. It's not saying that it isn't wrong, and it's not saying that, yeah, look at the consequences of what happens here. But it's that empathy thing. It's like, this is told within this story. So yeah, if you're really not in the mood for a story of a brother and a sister in an incestuous relationship, this probably isn't the story for you. But if you want to actually kind of know what these inside, and how valuable that is, just as we're a society where we look at each other and we judge each other. I mean, we're on the internet right now and we judge each other. And this isn't to say you're letting people off. There are real world, there's consequences for people outside of these two, which, that has to be a part of the thing. But it's also to say there should be an argument for empathy. And if this book is anything, it is an argument for empathy and for wielding the word, the really well, finely crafted word, in a way that's empathetic and brings you in versus distancing and shoving away and pointing and stoning and, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, in the end, a really, really powerful, really moving book, really well written. I'm going to definitely pick up more of Michael Crummey's work and give it a try. He took me to a place that I really didn't want to be, but was able to hold me there, which is a valuable thing in a writer. And your mileage may vary. There's things that, it's like, okay, something's too much for you. That is fine. Don't even try it. That's okay. But if you want to be pushed, this novel will push you, and it isn't going to exploit these children characters in the process. I don't believe so, at least. All right. That's my review of The Innocents by Michael Crummey. More videos later.